4 by 10, but let's say 24 by 12. What you're going to provide is the flooring and the roof column. 8 columns you're going to put in at that. And you're going to provide a roof, you're going to deck it, concrete slab roof. I am saying, I am depositing here that anywhere between $2 million and $3 million can build that. Bring Jamaican contractors together. Ask some of the developers to cease their projects for 2 months or let's say 40 days, because I am saying you can deliver 5,000 of these in 30 days. Yeah? So you're going to build that shell and you're going to give it to a man and say, help yourself from this. So people who have the money can put on, if they want to build 2-bedroom living room, kitchen and bathroom, that can be a 20 by 20. You understand? Yes. And the government frame out that for them. So column, roof, flooring, and then put in the partition. What that will do, OB, is also save the Jamaican dollar, because if you're going to ship 5,000 container home, it's US dollars you're going to spend. You're going to put more pressure upon the market. What this concept will do is create a lot of jobs. So every young man in the area, this is a 40-day project that you're going to put in. Build back fast. Yeah? And you column up.
And we know that what happened, you have a lot of countries all around that have containers that basically just wheel it there. They want to get it out.
Yeah, man.
They want to use opportunity to use Jamaica as a dumping ground for these containers. No, I don't think we need to go that road.
When I heard the container idea, OB, I never say much, but we have this idea, and it's an idea that a couple of us been talking about. I have a brethren who is a donor. We have Norbert, Shagby, we've been talking about this, that the government should just frame it out. It's something that I have spoken to engineers about. Frame it out and give them. You can put ply in the siding, you can go block it up, you can put concrete ply in it, and you do your partition, you have a solid structure that will withstand a Category 5 hurricane. And you can deliver it, hold on, Obi. And the main thing, it can be delivered faster than the container homes that you, if you move now. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters, he restoreth my soul. He leadeth us in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though we walk through the valley of the shadows of death, we will fear no evil. For the Lord Jesus Christ is with me. His rod and his staff, they comfort us. The Lord Jesus Christ prepares a table before Colin Anthony SHACKA Bell in the presence of all my enemies. The Lord Jesus Christ anointed Colin Anthony Bell SHACKA head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow Colin Bell all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord Jesus Christ forever and ever. Good morning, world. Morning, Jamaica. Morning, my peeps. Welcome to Talk Jamaica. This Sunday morning show is your show. It is your show because we give you the opportunity to call. We might invite a co-host, but we don't invite guests on this Sunday morning show. Sorry. Because this Sunday morning show, as the name says, Talk Jamaica. That is what this Sunday morning show is geared towards, to hear from you. The number is 876-804-7072. That's the number to call. So you give us a shout and you talk about anything to do with Jamaica where you want to talk about. There are lots of things happening in Jamaica right now. In fact, the news cycle or the news field is so fertile right now that nothing nasty. to come today, something lick it out tomorrow. But God has been good to us. We have also been looking at the performance of the Jamaican government as it relates to the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. And if you ask me to rate the government out of 10, I will give them a 3. A 3. And the 3 that I am giving them is not a number that I am picking out of a hat. I am giving them a 3 based on their figures. The figures that come out of ODPEM, the figures that come out of the Ministry of Labor, the figures coming from the government. In fact, the private sector, they are doing a better job than what the government is doing. Example, JPS, Flow, Digicel. They are doing a better job than the government. I went back and I listened to the show yesterday. Parts of it. I listened back to the first part of the show yesterday. Because yesterday morning, after listening to the Minister of Labor and Social Security, I got very upset. Very, very upset. Because we have to be rational people. And as we say on this program, our mantra is the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. We don't come here to tell lies or spread propaganda. There are times when we have our own opinion and we state our opinion clearly. So, when we state our opinion, we make it known. That is our opinion. Whichever man have a right to his or her opinion. What we don't have a right to is our own facts. Also, one of the things that I try my best when I pray to ask God for is understanding. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. In fact, I had a grandfather, James Arthurs. James Arthurs was not a man who could read and write, but he was very knowledgeable. And when we go to school and the teacher told us that we have 5 senses, tasting, hearing, them sense there. James Arthurs used to say to me, a 3 sense him have. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And by reading the Bible, which is a book of guidance, a book that tells you how to live. Don't remember which chapter, which verse, but it says get this and get that. But in all you're getting, get understanding. So, when we sum up the whole thing, the government of Jamaica admit that they were slow out the blocks. But today, from where I sit in front of this camera this morning, I am saying that the government is still slow. When the Minister of Labor said to us in that press briefing on Wednesday morning that the assessment will be completed in January, I find that unacceptable. And that hurt me to my core. Because, in all honesty, for the government to act appropriately, to respond appropriately, it is critical for the government to have the data to get that assessment done so as to know exactly where to put what is needed on the ground. Critical. And one of the things that we've been talking about here on this channel is the government failure to complete the population census. $4 billion and the census was not completed. Again, that is about collecting the data to assist government to navigate properly. It is the data that will inform government if there is a need for new school and where. It is the data that will inform government if there's a need for new hospital, clinic, anything of the sort, where that is needed. No. The minister said that the intended target is 150,000 assessment. What he told us yesterday morning or at the press briefing was that they have done 40,144 assessment out of that 150 that he intends to get to. Now, if you intend to get to 150,000 assessment, 40,144 is less than a third. Therefore, it is unacceptable. What is also unacceptable is that the minister told you that the government needs that data to act. And your plan is for the end of January. Now that's no cast in stone, you know. And a lot of things can come in between, rain and all of that, to shorten that period, to lengthen that period of time. Now, my people, had this been done closer to the event, you'd have gotten better data. No people are planning for you to tell you lies and all kind of chickini. And we have been saying it from the second week after the hurricane, because we went down there in the first week. The hurricane was Tuesday. We were in St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James on the Friday, Trelawney, St. Ann. We were down there on the Friday. We went back shortly after. And that's when we start questioning people. And those of you who watch the channel regular would remember me saying that the government not start take up the information yet. That is something that I have been talking about non-stop. Because I know that what is critical is for government to have the information on how many people are damaged, what kind of damage they sustain, how many children are in the household that have been damaged. But if I say the government not care about people, the trolls them are go vex. But I have reason to say it. The government doesn't care. Vex all you want, vex, Mr. Prime Minister. Action speaks louder than words. Your words have been empty. It not take rocket scientists to say, yo, after the hurricane, the first thing I need to know is how many people have been displaced. I want to know how many people with disabilities have been displaced. And if you were a caring government, those would have been your priority. Because to date, I have not heard about any evacuation. And it's late now to evacuate people. Because my training tells me that any situation that you keep a human being in for 6 weeks, he can adapt to it. The tough ones who wants to adapt will adapt. I tell you, 6 weeks is that time period to break a human being into whatever situation you want to break him into. If you have him for 6 weeks, you can break him into adapting to that situation. We are now past 6 weeks. I have been saying that 2 weeks is what the government should have taken to get them things together, get the boots on the ground, and put in people to do the assessment. Shouldn't take more than 6 weeks. Here we are now, past 6 weeks, heading to 2 months. And the information that government should have for us to be comfortable that the government is on top of things. The Minister of Labour told us on Wednesday that we have less than 30% of that information. My people, it's sad. Yes, it is the strongest hurricane to have hit Jamaica. The largest disaster we have had in this country. But if the government still not come out of fright mood yet, somebody need to hold them and shake them. But you know one of the problem? You know one of the major problem? There's a set of jackass, a set of donkeys. They are strong, they are loud, but guess what? They are stupid. The set of donkeys I'm talking about are the ones on social media who are propping up the government and saying that the government is doing a good job. Quite a few of them live overseas, so them not come on the ground. But they are just a set of paid political entrepreneurs who are being paid by their party. And therefore, them come and them chat a bag of rubbish. The phone lines are open. 876-804-7072 is your day, your time. This program is called Talk Jamaica. We want people to come speak their mind. Talk about anything. It doesn't have to be the hurricane. It doesn't have to be the hurricane. It doesn't have to be the relief and restoration and recovery. Anything you want to talk about. I'm just putting forward what is on my chest this morning as I talk to the Jamaican people. The commander here is the head of HODPEM. And I'm going to play his presentation at the press conference. Going to play his presentation because him gives some of the numbers.
It has now been 42 days since the all clear has been issued, and while they have made some significant progress, we fully remain focused on the communities and families that are hurting and still in need of support. The National Emergency Operations Center remains activated at level 3, coordinating response, relief, and early recovery efforts across all parishes. First, let me indicate or speak about rather the human impact. Hurricane Melissa has been our most consequential disaster. It is deeply regrettable that to date we have recorded 45 confirmed deaths, with 13 persons still missing and an additional 32 deaths under investigation. Our thoughts remain with the families of those we've lost. In the aftermath of the storm, we have also seen 84 suspected and 30 confirmed cases of leptospirosis, with 12 related deaths, 7 of which have been confirmed, as well as 2 cases of tetanus and 1 death. These figures underscore the scale of the human impact and the seriousness with which the ministries, departments, and agencies of government continue to approach the recovery effort. As of last evening, 101 emergency shelters remain open across 7 parishes, housing 1,061 persons. Work continues between the MDAs and partners to identify suitable sites for prefabricated housing and other medium-term options, especially in communities where schools are still being used as shelters, so that normal school life can resume. As mentioned before, the Guyanese Defense Force has deployed to Jamaica to fulfill the promise made by their president to repair some 200 roofs in the parish of Westmoreland. The team commenced work yesterday and is living and working alongside their Jamaica Defense Force counterparts. In partnership with the HODPEM, the JDF also continues to coordinate with regional and international military partners, including Barbados, Bermuda, Rwanda, Ghana, and Ethiopia, arranging for the conduct of similar roofing repair missions across Jamaica. The long-term priority remains clear: safe, resilient housing and durable shelter solutions for those who have lost their homes. Thanks to strong national and international partnerships, we've also been able to mount a strong food and relief distribution operation. To date, the government of Jamaica has distributed just over 340,000 food packages, the HODPEM distributing just over 98,000, while Jamaica Defense Force, in support of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, just over 242,000 packages to affected households primarily in Western Jamaica. The Food Assistance Working Group, which includes over 30 partners, has enabled the production and delivery of food packages and hot meals to 314,000 persons in some 379 communities. In total, the Food Assistance Working Group has distributed just over 112,000 food kits, affecting 234 lives, while some 3.3 million hot meals have been distributed to approximately 190,000 persons. At the same time, just over 39,000 Jamaica household damage impact and needs assessments have been completed, helping to identify households in need of shelter and livelihood support. This data is also guiding cash grants and voucher programs that will help families to purchase food, building materials, and other essentials as we transition from the emergency phase into the early recovery and self-resilience. Churches and other faith-based institutions, the private sector, and willing Jamaicans continue to provide invaluable food distribution, clothing, and other relief items in the worst-hit parishes. Minister Vaz would have already mentioned the critical restoration of infrastructure and telecommunications. What I also indicate is that the National Water Commission had restored over 83% of its customer base. The majority of systems in all parishes are back online, and with the support of the 12 additional water trucks operating in the affected communities, they are able to deliver over 146,000 gallons of water to affected communities. What this has enabled is that over 60% of remittance agencies within the worst affected parishes are operational. In St. Elizabeth, over 69%. In Westmoreland, over 85%, Hanover, 83%, St. James, 67%, and Trelawney, 73%. Work continues to restore utilities and critical services. Our health sector remains stable. More than 50% of the health sector, of health facilities rather, in each parish are operational and supported by 2 field hospitals and multiple international and local medical missions. The Ministry of Health and Wellness, in partnership with PAHO and UNICEF, continue to roll out mobile clinics, mobile pharmacy services, mental health and psychosocial support, and also distribution of wash kits and medical supplies to shelters and affected communities. Environmental health activities are being intensified, including mosquito control and fogging across dozens of communities. We do urge the public to play their part, store water safely, clean up around your premises, and seek medical help early if you develop fever, vomiting, diarrhea, or such symptoms. To date, just over 17,000 contributors have donated funds through the GOJ Hurricane Melissa platform, totaling some 780 million Jamaican dollars. These funds are being used to procure building supplies to assist the Jamaican people. I want to encourage those at home and abroad that if you want to contribute or you wish to contribute, please use the official Support Jamaica platform at supportjamaica.gov.jm. In closing, let me indicate that the road to recovery is long, but Jamaica is moving along at a steady pace from emergency to the early recovery phase into rebuilding. We will affirm that no community will be forgotten. The OTPEM and other local authorities, international partners, the private sector, faith-based and community organizers are united in a single mission to restore lives and livelihood and dignity and to build back better, safer, and stronger. Thank you, and may God continue to bless our island home.
Thank you. So, there you got some of the figures. Now, anybody want to tell me that those figures satisfy them? I'd love to hear. Doesn't satisfy me. Because the amount of food packages, again, that should be about 5 or 6 times more than what was announced a while ago. No joke. Should be more. And that's why I said yesterday, when some people say the Minister of Labor was lying because of the amount of money that was spent for food, I said to them, I disagree. Madam Producer, you is a woman who go to a supermarket. The last time you went to the supermarket, how much money you spend shopping for food, and if what you shop for could serve you for a week? Because I want to put some figure to this, because we're talking about reaching out for about 350,000 people. Right? And if you want to break that down to 150,000 family. So let's use the number from the Minister of Labor in terms of the amount of assessment that he wants to get done. Say we want to get 150,000. Right? So if we look at it rationally and say that is the amount of household that we think get damaged, these are people then that would need assistance. Right? She come with a tala. See it here? These are the supermarket receipt. No, this is which one?
This was one that I bought on Wednesday.
This Wednesday of this week.
This Wednesday.
And the total on this is $22,977. All right.
Look at it and see what I bought. That's not really a grocery.
I don't know what part grocery this.
Not grocery.
This is what?
This was just.
Because something to eat.
Yeah.
So you're saying that this can't serve for a week. All right. So it's 22. Let me call it $22,000 for the week. If the government supply 150,000 families with an average of $20,000 worth of goods for 1 week, me I look on the figure and I'm afraid to call the figure because the figure is saying $3 billion. Somebody else calculate this for me. Come in with me, Mike. Me calculate 20,000 by 150,000. And me get $3 billion. Somebody else in our chat room calculate it. Somebody is saying $23,000 that. All right. But me cut it down to 20,000. 20,000 multiply by 150,000. My calculator tell me say $3 billion. Nobody not calculate it for me? Divide the number by 4, assuming there's a family of 4. But all right, said you spent. Somebody say yes, it's $3 billion. So when I tell you yesterday, so those of you who said the minister lie, it's the wrong thing when I say. What that tells me is inadequacy. What the government spent wasn't adequate to help the people. Hey, you see if private people need to go down the west, people dead for hungry down that. Dead for hungry. Right here in Jamaica. $250 million or $225 million. The government shouldn't come say that them spend. That is inadequate. And I tell you already that when I hear people talking about the government is politicizing the relief, I am not going to say there's no politics. But before you point finger to politics, what my senses are telling me, my wisdom, my knowledge and understanding, my grandfather kind of sense, is saying to me that the government is not doing enough. It is inadequate. What the government is doing is inadequate. If the government was really providing food, it should be in the billions. 6 weeks after the hurricane, that press conference was on Wednesday. I want to do another calculation. Because the minister said then get to 40,000 people. So I'm going to 20,000 times the 40,000. 144. That is $802 million. To one round. That's one round. One round. One round of food. So those of you who say the government thief the money, me not agree with you no. Me not agreeing with you no. They not thief no money. Well, if they thief the money, no, he not the 200 million. Because that can't buy food for people. You didn't realize? Say that can't buy no food for nobody.
Hold on. In my opinion,
yeah.
This is my opinion.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If they say they spend 2 million.
Me don't know if the people in my area. More of the people in here.
I am saying, if they say they spend 2 million, trust me, they spend 1.5.
Wala. No, that's a different argument. That is a different argument. What the producer is saying, if the government said them spend 250 million, or 150 million they spend. Now, I cannot believe that anybody with a conscience could be stealing from the poor people at this time. Couldn't be. So, that was the producer's opinion, which everybody have a right to their opinion. Although some labor right tell me say me I have no right to my opinion. Because when I come here and I say, if the hurricane, if PNP did win the election, no hurricane wouldn't blow, some labor rights say, me I mislead people. So, if me I mislead people, I'm going to play a clip for you from Mas Marlon. Because me know say me have labor right when I miss my show, you know. Because there's a certain labor right. When you go up on him TikTok page, Madam Producer, you don't think of my TikTok page. Do you me depend it? Me say, you don't think of my TikTok page. Then guess what? On my video, them have the most views on it, you know. Because I'm going to scan the page, you know. Because to every time me do a show, even yesterday the man post out of the show already, you know. So, me say, let me go look on this man page. And when we go scan the page, people, you don't think of my page. This I want to play. And if when me say about the hurricane and the government, if that is misleading people, somebody tell me what this is. Hold on there. Hold on there. Tada. Listen this.
10 seconds. In 10 seconds.
Go ahead, sir.
The fundamental point here is that your listeners and the people of Jamaica have a very clear indication as to the commitment of this government and what we have done versus what the PNP would have done, because a PNP government would have extended the JPS license by 15 years, tying us to very oppressive, unconscionable and offensive license terms in relation to our electricity.
All right, Senator. Thanks.
So I want to thank you.
So
I want to give license terms.
So, is that misleading? I would say that is Marlon Morgan's opinion. Like my opinion, if PNP did win the election, no hurricane wouldn't come. None. That's my opinion. Marlon Morgan just say, if I did PNP in a power, would I extend GPS license for 15 years with the same oppressive condition. That's his opinion. He have a right to his opinion. Did the GLP had a chance to adjust, make adjustment or do anything to the GPS license in 2008? Because that's what I understand. And they had another chance to do something to the license in 2020. In fact, Philip Paulwell pointed out to them more than one time that there is no magic one in 2027. You can call in the GPS at any time, but you know what me understand? This government can't walk and chew gum. They can't multitask. As I said this morning, a phone morning, you know. 876-804-7072. Give me a call. Talk about anything you want to talk about. We want to hear what you think about the government performance. Somebody said, DP love you like cook food. Well, when you look on the man TikTok channel, I mean, I said, no, if you go look. Because I don't look no views for them. But I'm me over there. I might channel that. Brother Colin, can you explain to us why the government receiving multiple tons of relief aid? Why the government needs to spend millions on food? Well, okay, that's a good question. That's a good question. So if they have received a whole heap, then okay, you have a point. So they need to explain to us then what it is that they have distributed from the relief. But if you listen to the ADPEM man, I think him said they have distributed 360,000 package. Now, based on his first interaction with Damian Crawford, he said it was 360,000 people that needed the assistance. So if they have now distributed 360,000 package, that means one rotation that should have been one. So that's why I said earlier, if you ask me to rate the government, out of 10, I would give them 3. 3 out of 10 is what I give the government. Not more than 3. In fact, if you really look at their figures, they should get maybe 2.5. Carla, good morning. Welcome to Talk Jamaica.
Morning, Colin.
Welcome.
Good morning to the listeners. First question I want to ask, and is the one that Mystic asks. If the government is buying food, where is the government buying the food from? Is that $225 million in economy? No, because we're not here where they get the food from. Only here, so them spend $225 million.
Carla, hold on. Don't hang up.
So
Hold
is
on.
it overseas to buy the food?
Hold on, Carla. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. Hold the line for me. Hello, morning.
Morning, Colin.
Nephew.
Morning, my brother.
Yes.
Morning.
Go ahead.
Who could have, in the right sense, ask you to give the present GLP government a rating out of 1 to 10? Out of 1 to 10. Who could have, in the right sense, ask a man who is a member of what the PNP, NEC, the ICE decision body making, a man who run for the People's National Party, a man who have been campaigning night and day for the PNP, who could have really out of them sense ask you to give the present government a rating out of 1 to 10, Colin?
Nobody never asked me. Me, I rate them. But let me ask you, out of 10, how would you rate the government? On the relief or restoration after Melissa, how would you rate them?
I give them 9.75.
You're a wicked man.
All right, take your time.
You're a wicked man.
All right, Colin. Make we spend a second there.
Yeah.
We see the Prime Minister and his members of his cabinet all over the place.
Okay.
We see the Prime Minister have gone into a compound. Foreign else that even the head of the Maroon said they will take the material, but they don't want the military. We see so many countries jump on board and assisting this government and sending even soldiers. We see the Chinese send them ship with...
Neville, hold on a little bit. Who do you concern about? The government or the people down in the West Underground?
You asking me a question and I'm coming to that. You see where the government is doing so much for the people who are mostly affected with this category 5 hurricane. And I come out and say I give the government the eye mark and you see me as a wicked man.
Let me ask you a question. How many houses the government built since the hurricane?
The government has announced that they are trying to bring
No. Hold on a little bit. Listen to the question when I ask you. How many houses have been built? Past tense, you know.
No houses have been built by the government since.
Thank you. All right. Another question.
Finish the point. That's what I'm saying. The government is bringing in, they said, over 5,000 container house for hurricane victim, and so I still maintain that black and steel would have been the best way forward. But you must remember also that the government has been out there every year giving away houses, and none of those houses in which the government give away have been damaged. Me like that.
How many houses did Prime Minister Andrew Holness promise to build in 2016? Social houses. How many he did promise to build?
He started to build?
How many did he promise that he would build? In 2016, Prime Minister Andrew Holness made a commitment to the country that he was going to build social houses for people. How many did he promise to build?
I don't remember the exact number.
How many houses, how many social houses has he delivered since 2016? 10 years.
I've been told that each NP gets 5 per year. Each NP gets 5 per year. So, and I sure know that had been delivered. I remember when I time he went into St. Thomas when he were delivering and said that you have
Nephew, me have a caller all.
Yes.
You said the government not build no house since Hurricane Beryl. I have 2 more questions for you. How many people have they evacuated out of their area and put them into comfortable space since the hurricane?
Well, apart from the shelter.
No, I'm not talking about the hurricane shelter where people moving out before the hurricane and still in. May I ask you the question, how many persons have the government evacuated out of those areas and put them in a comfortable places since the hurricane?
I can't tell you of any, Colin.
You don't know of any?
No.
All right? So, the commander of ODPM said that in the first PAC, when Damian asked him, he said that they were trying to get to 360,000 people. At the time, they only delivered 116,000 package. On Wednesday, he told us that they have delivered 360,000 packages. Are you comfortable with that?
Colin, you have never have any government in the history of this country have done anything near what this present government have done.
Me never ask you that, nephew. Me I talk about the people and respectfully. All right, nephew. Me hear you and you answer the questions. Me just the last question. Are you comfortable with the amount of food packages getting to the 360,000 people?
I've heard people saying that the
are you comfortable with that number?
Yes. Based on what the hurricane victim people is saying, I'm comfortable.
All right. Thank you, nephew. I have a caller holding who was before you. Thank you. Yeah, caller. Let me apologize for that. Go ahead.
We understand, so when nephew call, you have to answer.
No, I don't, nephew. What happened is that you are on a WhatsApp line. When they call on the straight line, it kind of make the WhatsApp line sound funny. So that's why I take the call.
But nephew is a proper house slave. I want to know which MP, right MP, him have proximity to, why him behave like that. Because I only house slave based because master pay them little attention. So he don't care about nobody else. Him one of them would have definitely have up on the plantation same way. Back to the question I thought, Colin.
Yes.
Where is the $225 million in the economy now? Because we don't hear nobody say the government come spend some money. We don't see. But the government goes to spend some money.
Let me say this to you. The $225 million peanuts.
That makes no sense.
So nobody could even, if you got price smart and spend that, them would even see it.
Colin, what I want to understand, you see, and at the last time I called, or a couple times ago when I called, I said to you, the government is waiting on the desperation of the people to set in so that they can come in and look like they're doing something. After the January period ends, because people is going to come out again for the Christmas period, they're going to come out again into the new year. You see, after that ends, people can do so much and no more of what they have. Right? So you see, after that period ends, then the government is going to come in like a knight in shining armor. They're not doing anything because they don't care. It's all about optics for them. Nothing at all they care about. It's just optics.
But you know one of the problem, Carla? One of the problem are people like Nevio. Nevio is a part of the problem. Because
exactly.
When you come out and give the government, when say 9.5? Tell her.
9 3/4. 9 3/4. Because when you look at the care packages that the people are getting, we're not seeing anything from overseas brands. They're all local produce. So where did the government get these products from? because they not find nothing in it. So when me I think is this, the government is taking the stuff, like all the tents and the cots or the sleeping bags. I'm sure that them they are JDF. Me sure to them they are JDF. Because at the end of the day, Jamaican people then put everything on the internet. And if we have not seen where these things were being distributed to the people, him say him give out, him plan to give or lend the generators to the small businesses. If somebody had gotten these stuff, I'm sure that somebody would have posted that, hey, me get a generator from the government. You're not seeing anything.
But we hear them say them give out some generator. Them say them give out some. Let's go off of what they say. Them say
exactly.
Them give out some generator. Dayton said no come at Westmoreland.
Mm-hmm.
So
who they giving it to? Because Jamaican people them live on social media where they don't have life, yes or no, they're going to post.
Carla, you have a point, it's sharp like needle.
They're going to post because just the other day there was a TikTok circulating where some people get some food from World Central Kitchen and them start cuss and go on the most say, oh, them not eat this because this is foolishness, and them throw it and get the dog for them. So if them do that, if the government was actually doing something,
even labor rights,
that people would be posting?
Even the labor rights they would have posted.
Even the labor rights they would have posted.
Business are go up.
Exactly. The optics are going to show say, hey, the government's out there, may I get this. Nobody's seeing anything. So who are you giving this stuff to?
Carla, somebody in the chat room a while ago wrote that if the government have all this aid that they get from abroad, food stuff, why would they spend billions to buy food? That's a point. But hold on.
Question that
but
needs to
hold
be
on.
asked.
But what you just said a while ago is also pushing that aside, because what you are saying is that where the people them get down a west are local stuff.
Mm-hmm. Local stuff.
Because
you feel like if Jamaican people them get foreign goods, then now go show so them get foreign stuff from them government.
Exactly. That's why the Prime Minister wants to shut down. That's why Prime Minister wants to shut down the video. Enough, when you go down there and give people things, enough a video.
Exactly.
He wants to shut it down because it is showing up the government.
How this voucher thing are gonna work now? How the voucher thing are gonna work? Because me have a question about this, and me want to explain it to me like some dunce like nephew.
Look here,
Marlon
Morgan called me last night because him say him go back and him watch the 3 hours of the program yesterday, and he called me about one thing only. Called me to ask me that because Ralston said up until Thursday, JPS not get the money. And him say if we are hold him to that and ray. So I took the opportunity to talk to him about the misinformation. And I said, Marlon, I can't put you in it because at least Marlon depend at the radio station them. I'm afraid to come here so because the question them we have here so now sharp and pertinent.
Him not go answer.
So I'm afraid to come over here. But he has been out there. But none of the other ministers have been making themselves available to the media to answer pointed questions. And I said to him, that is the gap that the government needs to close. Because what they are afraid of is got your journalism, like people how to get them. If you don't have nothing to hide, and if you don't have nothing where you don't know, where you should have know, you can't be afraid of that. It's questions people are asked. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you said, I will come back with that. But because this government is so hype and braggadocious, they can't say them not know something. Because based on their style, them supposed to know everything.
Marlon is just a distractor in chief though, Colin.
Oh, yes.
He's a distractor in chief because he's really not coming out to say anything because every time he comes on to Conrad O'Brien show, him come with the same story, and even when him try to explain himself, he's just repeating himself and you're not getting any clarity on anything.
And he wants to just distracting from what is happening and
just want to talk over people. And the last time he called Simon Crosskill just after Raleigh come off at the station, and Simon said, why nobody call Raleigh and ask him this, and he find a bag of excuse as to why he couldn't reach out to Raleigh. If you feel like say una do the right thing, I want to know say una
thank you.
Take the questions take the questions that people can get clarity on.
I even sent him some of the
Because
questions. I sent him some of the questions and said, these are some of the questions I want answer to.
They're not going to
answer them. Come,
because them knows are some hanky-panky business them depend.
I am a very simple man, Carla. So my questions are simple. Simple. You hear me ask, Neville, how many houses have the government built since the hurricane?
He can't tell you.
How many people have the government evacuated out of some messy situation and put them somewhere comfortable? None. When was the day of national day of mourning for the people who lost their lives? Simple.
Labor rights are just emotional talkers. They talk off of emotion, they don't talk off facts. So you can't have conversation with them. It's just a back and forth ping pong game, and you will scratch your head and I wonder if the person really just said that. Because they really don't have the information, they lack the knowledge to have conversation with people that you can actually exchange, information with each other, because it's just emotional reasoning. They don't talk from a factual base. And I want to know, how is it that you're going to give a 5-year loan with a 2-year contract? How does that work? How does a 5-year loan work with a 5% interest rate with a 2-year contract?
Oh, yes.
How does that work?
How does that
and because
work?
You want to because they don't know,
but Carla,
and because somebody appeal for something somewhere.
Carla, I don't want to stop there now, because the Minister of Finance, second highest office in the government, the finance minister, said that the multilaterals have set aside
already send the money.
Have set aside $450 million for GPS.
And we all heard that.
And we don't need to worry, because we're going to get back with $150 million. So we're going to still
and Colin,
have
she said it with her chest. She said it with her chest. She was like, we don't have to give the $150 million to JPS anymore, because the multilateral says there's $450 million.
Hold on, Carla. That's not how she said it. Because based on how she said it, you don't think JPS get it. She said we all get back.
You don't think that JPS get the 150 already?
You hear what she said, no? JPS is going to repay us back the 150. Yeah. Some don't know who them are trying to fool.
I just believe that Favor must just hold on a moral compass and say, here, what, me can't do this because me can't lie. Because it's obvious that she's reading somebody else's lie, and because it is not hers, she keep on a mess up.
Favor can't walk.
She needs to just remove herself.
A $20 million a year, you idiot. Walk well if what?
$20 million a year.
Walk well if what?
$20 million a year.
And
all of these civil servants that went out.
A month Favor get, you know?
Exactly. All of these civil servants that went out and dipped their finger in the ink for this government, they can kiss their raises goodbye, because that's not coming. So the things that the 2% or the 0% in year one was an insult. Well, it is not coming.
You heard me ask Lambert Brown about it yesterday.
It's not coming. I was a civil servant, Colin, and when I realized that so many police and civil servants went out and voted for this government, like them forgot, when the man say, not another red cent, we can't go no more. No more, we not get, take it or left it.
And if you forget? Well, and if you don't take it, we not go get it.
And if we don't take it, we not go get it, so we can come back to the table.
Damian Crawford come out and said, no, rubbish, the government can put it in a scroll. But listen, they wanted the civil servant to sign off.
I experienced both government as a civil servant, and the biggest raise any civil servant has ever gotten was under Peter Phillips. And anybody say anything otherwise, I lie them I tell. Because this money that Andrew owns, show we and then take it back, because that is our Peter and Paul business in the pan when they give people raise, you know. So give you one and take it back with the next one. And people realize it's a 3-card man them a deal with. Him flash this big package in front of you, and then when it come to you, you realize, hold on there, wait there.
Carla, thanks.
And I can give you an experience before I come off, Colin. You remember this this back pay money that civil servant is supposed to get?
Yes.
I think it was 2023. It's when I look on my pay slip, my figure was $1.3 million in back pay. You want to know how much I got after tax? $275,000 after tax.
Well, on the figure was 1.5 million.
$1.3 million. Me supposed to
1.3.
get back in some back pay. Yes.
And you
after
lost
the tax,
over
was
$1 million to taxes.
Okay, I got $225 million after tax.
225,000.
225,000 after tax.
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
Okay.
Blessings. Walk, brother, a long time in a year, yo.
Yeah, we never know you're on a Sunday morning, man.
Well, we do a show called Talk Jamaica on a Sunday morning. We just take calls. We don't bring on no guests.
Oh. Well, I just scroll and back up in the show and I say me I give a call.
Blessings, man. We are talking about the government, the actions of the government after Hurricane Beryl and all of that. And we're talking about anything you want to talk about. We realize that you're crying out for some assistance up there. Things not so nice up at your place.
Well, to be frank, you know, the cry out reach where it's supposed to reach, because since the cry out, I've had meetings with persons from NET and from the ministry.
Yes.
And that contract turn up.
Yes.
So
good.
we should, yes, so we should be kickstarting. We had a kickstart meeting since that cry out.
What?
And we should be having some work starting Tuesday of this week. So
very good.
So the cry out really actually had the desired effect.
So you are saying that by January morning, school will be open with new roof and stop leak and
no, it won't the contract will last for 4 months.
Oh, okay, going to take some time.
Remember, it's two buildings, you know.
Yes.
One, the 6th classroom that has been out since Beryl.
Okay.
So they're gonna remove that entire roof, and the admin block is leaking. If it is leaking, so
yeah,
they're gonna
you
put
say
some
if you have a bucket in your office.
Yes.
Listeners and viewers, if you're guessing, we're talking about the Happy Grove High School. Still not up to par, but as you hear now, they're going to get some help.
Yeah, man. So the government had responded, and I'm happy for that.
Beautiful.
Because as you know, education is the key, and I believe part of the biggest problem that we're having in the country now, why we are getting on the type of representation, is because of the lack of understanding of majority of the people who actually vote.
Yes.
Of what voting really means, and when you vote, what you should be voting for. Because I think
Hold on there. Hello, morning.
Good morning, boss.
Yeah,
morning, boss. So I go on, man.
Me there.
Well, boss, boy, I know you talk on the bigger issues, you know, but boy, me have to talk on the little one that will affect me.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I don't know if you notice so I go on in a town of Port Antonio.
Port Antonio is dirty, stink, nasty. I called the member of parliament here a couple of weeks ago to bring his attention to it in the public, and he has admitted that yes, some work needs to be done, and he's working on it. But we now come off it because our beautiful town of Port Antonio is a total mess. Total mess.
And I ask a question. When the market was burnt down, there was some GoFundMe, and the former member of parliament got some money. What happened to those monies?
That is the question. Ask it again. At one point, I thought I heard she said she got $50 million. We know that she had distributed about $20 million to people. The question is, where is the rest of that money?
Because, I mean, if it was given as donation, I would think that regardless of which member of parliament is in, it was given for the people of Portland.
You know, I'm going to say something. Madam Producer, we saw a white lady came out after the election, and she spoke about the water truck. And from that day, I've been thinking about it, because the former MP, said the water truck was a donation to the constituency. Yes. And when you really check it out, if it was a donation to the constituency, she can't take it.
And that's the point. These are some of the things that
She can't take it.
I want to find out.
No, I'm not joke. When me hear the lady said first, me laughing and I say, loud woman, the woman chuck. But I have been thinking about it and me I say, more than one time, she said the chuck was a donation. If the chuck was a donation, can't take it.
And even them, because when I look at it, the reason why the town is messy is because of we have the garbage, the whole heap of garbage from the ignorant on the streets. And we can't get the street clean if we don't get back the people in the market. The people have to have somewhere to sell.
The sidewalks of Port Antonio has now turned stores. So there's no sidewalk for the people them walk on. And you can't blame the people them because there's no market for the people them to go into. And we were told that this market would be the fastest market to rebuild.
Okay, right? And, it is something that is bothering me.
It bothers me too.
When I walk through the town and I look at it, this is not Port Antonio.
No, it bothers me too.
And we have to give credit where credit is due. I remember when Benny White and her son, they used to wash the culvert and paint them himself.
Benny used to paint them himself. Yes. But caller,
we have to give credit.
You have a call me back and me have a caller hold here.
All right, cool.
Blessings. No, that is critical. That is critical. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so as I was saying, the fact that the majority of the persons who actually participate in the process don't really understand what they should vote for and what they should demand from their representative. We have a political system that is actually failing the populace. And I say this from the perspective that there's this division among the people where people vote because they don't like the other side, not because of what the other side is actually offering. And as a result of that, if you're on one side and they're not offering anything because you hate the other side, you still vote for what is not good.
Yes.
And
you have a point.
And that is not how democracy was designed to work. It was designed to work not in a tribalistic way. And I believe with within the information age is that persons have become more tribal to the point where I was observing, because I didn't make much call over the election period, and I realized how the rest of Jamaica decided to attack East Portland. Now, I don't know how a man who was living in Montego Bay can know the pain of the persons in East Portland and why they made the decision that they did. However, they started to draw a map and say, this part is not a part of Jamaica. Jamaica, this part cut off totally. Hello?
Yeah, man, may I listen to you?
And when I look, for example, we have an arrogant, disrespectful man in that house, has no respect for anybody at all. Him is not somebody who you want any child look at and say, this is our parliamentarian, should vote. Should be.
Yeah.
And then he can boast that he get the most votes.
Over 10,000.
You can say something much wrong with the system.
Don't turn up
because
if
it is that a set of people say, oh, regardless of your profile, this is not who I want. And the whole Jamaica come down on that. But somebody else who is openly disrespectful, have no regard for anything, and then people vote for him and everybody accept that as saying that's the will of the people. Why it was so difficult to accept the will of the people from East Portland? It proved to me that there must be a sinister plan to derail our democracy in getting people to accept certain things as the norm. And when they accept it now, this is the what they call the new norm. Mr. Bell, we are in trouble as a country.
Serious trouble.
If we don't get the younger generation to understand that a representative must have certain decorum, he must behave a particular way, because these are the individuals who are passed law to govern the entire country.
Oh, yes.
And if they themselves can't behave in a one particular way, why we should afford them that privilege to pass law?
But my brother, when you have a prime minister who is under investigation for illicit enrichment, where the Integrity Commission said him use charity funds to buy stocks and bonds for himself, and the people go out and vote that this man return as prime minister, everything that you said a while ago is factual.
But hold on. You know, the reality is, that could happen, and that will continue to happen, because we have too many, persons who control the levers at the fourth estate.
Yes.
Those individuals are afraid to call a spade a spade. And the reason being, it boils right down to dollars and cents. So the truth now is being evaluated based on dollars and cents.
Oh, yes.
So, for example, if it is that I should call this out and I won't be able to pay my bills to my work at the end of the month, I just let it go. It slide.
But watch this. Watch this, Carla. When you have a junior minister in the Ministry of Finance, that the director of corruption prosecution said this man must be charged. You're in the finance ministry, and your statutory filing with the Integrity Commission are not up to date. And we don't hear nobody calling for this man to step aside from the ministry. Xavier Meehan must step out of the Ministry of Finance forthwith. He is now taking the Integrity Commission, say, I sue the Integrity Commission. Step away till you're done. Step out of the ministry. And we're making this call this morning, that this is the Ministry of Finance. And this is one of the reasons why we said the Prime Minister couldn't become Minister of Finance while under investigation for illicit enrichment and have been referred to the FID for further investigation. Xavier Meehan is now recommended to be charged by the Integrity Commission, and he's sitting in the Minister of Finance. Sit alongside of the Minister of Finance and look like him while. You must step down Xavier Meehan.
Well, look at this. Remember, the democracy that we practice is different from everywhere else in the world. Because if this was in a country like England, where we took our model of democracy from, the public wouldn't have to come out for some of these things. The individual would have known that if it is that this happens, then the response is that I should do this.
Yes.
But our democracy is not like that.
Because
it is a situation where...
The Prime Minister, admit, that some of the information where the Integrity Commission asked him to turn over him lawyer, tell him not to turn it over, If he did that in England, he would have been a goner.
Yeah, but remember, we still come back to the lack of understanding of the people, because the people are so tribal that if you make a statement as it relates to integrity and you call out an individual, the first response is to say you are from the other side.
Oh, yes.
So it would mean that if you are nobody from that side would do such a thing. So once it is done by my side, it is accepted. But how do we move from here? And that is what I have an issue with. Because you see, when you look at the younger Turks, if for example, a Marlon Morgan get a bigger role in the party, I think he will be more tribal than the Prime Minister. And more tribal. And I don't say this. I don't have any. Is that because I hate the man? When you listen to how the man speaks,
it's his performance, his actions.
It is, yes, it is green. He sees green and green only. And when he presents, I hear play a clip this morning about what would have happened. Now, the man are looking at the future and see PNP in power. and see what the PNP would have done.
Yes, sir.
And then present it in such a way where it's presented like it is factual.
Oh, yes.
Now, the reality is, these kind of thing for persons is age. Is just playing into the playbook of those persons who were there before. We should be moving away from that. We should be more inclusive. And remember, so we have built a Jamaica for everyone. And we now got always there. And if we continue down this slides where we going now, all is going to happen is that less people is going to participate.
Yeah.
And we're going to have more and more corruption. Because if more persons were participating in the system, these government could not get away with some of the things that they get away with,
Yeah, man. I
But
just the
because
base.
they know.
Just the base them a participate.
Right. And we have to get more people being interested in the system. But then I am convinced that the present practitioners practice in such a way that it doesn't give others who are not a part of the system a reason to join. In fact, they give them more reason to stay out.
Well, Wilson, we're going to leave it there this morning and give some other people a chance, yeah?
Yeah, man, cool.
Big up yourself, my brother. Thanks for the call. 876-804-7072. Talk Jamaica. Talk your mind. Talk what is on your mind. We're taking your calls this morning right here. 876-804-7072. I want to go back to this man here because when I say
one person's work continues between the MDs and partners to identify suitable sites for prefabricated housing.
Hold on for me, caller. Coming to you.
Especially in communities where schools are still being used as shelters so that normal school life can resume. As mentioned before, the Guyanese defense
hold on, caller.
to Jamaica to fulfill the promise.
Let me take the calls. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
I want you to just run a tape for me. What Mr. Charles said. How many care packages they have distributed? We made a purchase and calculated how much did I get to that 225 million. You don't know that part of tape, please.
Hold on. You want your how much care package have been distributed?
Right, and just work out just divide the 225 by that number. You see how much I spend on each package.
Oh, so divide that amount. So it's well, I think them say
225 million divided by the number of packages.
I think them say them to 300 and.
No. Go back on the tape, please.
How much them say?
It's less than that. Maybe they work out like about 14,000 per package.
All right. I think at 300,000 them say them deliver though. But I'm going to get it back and I'm going to do that calculation as you suggest. Thank you.
Thanks. Good.
Yeah, man. We have a caller holding. Yes, caller, go ahead. We lost the caller. Let me get him back. Because we want to take all of the calls them as much. We're not going to stay all morning. We're getting off at scheduled time to get off was 10 o'clock. We might go to about 10:15, 10:30 the latest. Yes, caller. Sorry about that. Go ahead. Hello, good morning.
Yes, morning, Colin.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, calling from the beautiful state of Florida. All right.
The sunshine
There's something
state.
I realize with the opposition that they keep on constantly dropping the ball.
Yeah.
The other day, I see Desmond came out and said when Mark said he wanted to be a part of the committee, the relief committee for Melissa. He said that they had the opportunity and they refuse. And I see where I'm of the view is that they keep on let them come out with these narrative and they don't defend it. When they should have come out and say, hey, that was from the COVID and we were of a certain view based on the principle that we wanted a more inclusive approach to be taken and we based on that we did not. We refused to join on that aspect, but that has nothing to do with the Melissa relief of now. And we are talking about the situation we are in now. And they allow that to be portrayed as if they are troublemakers.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I understand you. Yeah.
I'm like,
some things that the
it's so
GLP
crazy.
people them come out and say, and we leave it alone and make them get well like they are talking truth when in fact they are not talking the truth. I agree with you. The opposition need to stop, drop the ball. Yeah, man. We drop a whole heap of balls. Yes.
Whole heap of balls and thing and they need to come out and be more forceful and let people say. Even the other day when Andrew changed him out in Parliament about giving the exact number of how much MPs get allotment and all of that.
Hey,
you're supposed to bring it up back.
I'm just killing him. And just say we are gonna put out where each MP get and when it grow and he said we are gonna put out what each constituency get.
Yeah, man. You have to call him out on it and say, yes, man, let's talk about what each MP get. Call him out on them stuff, man. You can't just make it thing a slide, so.
I cut off that clip because it's something that I wanted to put forward to the public and say, listen, this man. Him start at MP, and when him go forward, him end up at constituency. So what he's gonna say now, this constituency get that, even when him give to him labor right caretaker. Because we see George Wright, we see George Wright down at Westmoreland, a flaunt like him as still the MP. I want to ask George Wright, where your wife there, Mr. Wright? Where your wife there? Mr. Wright, where is the woman where you beat with a stool and married her? Where's she there now? Is she in Westmoreland with you, Mr. Wright? Is she there? Talk to me, Mr. Wright. Hold on the caller. Just give me 30 seconds. Because I want to ask former MP George Wright if your wife still down at Westmoreland with you. Or if your wife run away and left you. Tell her. Your wife run away and left you, Mr. Wright? Because of verbal abuse? Hey, yo! Question me I ask.
Crazy, man.
Me just ask question.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. The opposition have to be sharper and stop dropping the cat. Stop. The opposition are play too decent.
Too decent, man. They're too decent. I understand. Say you have to have decorum and you have to, but you have to like with Angela Brownberg the other day when she come out and and so we expect you to snap at them.
Yeah, man.
Once you see the foolishness, you snap at them, man.
And that's
the pressure upon them, man.
And that's what we've been here saying. Speak the truth, speak it ever, cause it's what it will.
Yeah, man.
Don't let the lies go and challenge. And that's why I agree with the Prime Minister that every lie must be challenged, including yours.
No, except his.
We are joined that war against misinformation, We at Portland Spice TV fully on board with the Prime Minister against misinformation and lies. We are fully at the front line of that war.
And there's one other thing that I need you guys, you Colin Bell and OB and all the other well-thinking people. Educate Jamaicans, and let them know that the government is responsible to ensure that we as Jamaican citizens have
roof
housing,
roof over our head, and especially after a disaster of this magnitude. Because we have bloggers out there who influential people out there who are saying that the government, they believe the government is not. When it is an agreement that the government signed. I can point you to at least 2 treaties that the Jamaican government has signed on to with the United Nations that says that the government must ensure that its people have proper shelter. I can point you to them.
Man. Man, we need to put that on the forefront and let the entire country know that this is what is supposed to happen.
All right, my brother. Thank you for
all right, respect.
Yes, man. 876-804-7072. We're taking your calls this morning. Talk Jamaica.
Also continues to coordinate with regional and international military partners including Barbados, Bermuda, Rwanda, Ghana, and Ethiopia, arranging for the conduct of similar roofing repair missions across Jamaica. The long-term priority remains clear: safe, resilient housing and durable shelter solutions for those who have lost their homes. Thanks to strong national and international partnerships, we've also been able to mount a strong food and relief distribution operation. To date, the government of Jamaica has distributed just over 340,000 food packages. The ODPEM distributing just over 98,000.
Stand up. All right, see the brethren, 340,000 food packages have been delivered by the government. So, them say them spend what? 225 or 250 million? Let's work with 250. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0. 250 million divided by 340,000. 340,000. Hey, this don't look good. This is $735 per package, you know. I wonder if I do this calculation right. The man said we must divide the amount of food packages delivered by the amount of money we spend. So when we divide 2 on 2, yeah man. So, all right, let me multiply this by 250 million. No, it's not 250 million. You must multiply it by 340,000. And you get $250 million, $735 package that. That's why I'm telling you. See, me telling you say that I never no money. Me telling you say that I never no money, you know. And morning, Marie.
Yeah, morning, Colin, and your listeners. Colin, you know, say, me been doing that maths already, but I wasn't big on math in school. And another region that may I get, so I'm leave it alone. Come and say, no, that's not right, because for all the things, $750 can't buy nothing, Colin.
Hold on, don't hang up. Hold on there. Morning.
Hello?
Yes, morning. Welcome. Turn off the
Morning,
instrument
sir.
in the background.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah.
Tell me, your auntie arrange up a team to go look for quarry July Maroon Village.
Oh, you mean Auntie You mean Auntie Babsy?
Yeah.
Arrange a team to go look for for Chief Curry?
Yeah.
I would suggest them leave Chief Curry alone.
But here's the thing now. It's a espionage thing now I deal with.
I don't know. I'm watching the play.
Because whole heap of place down west there where mash up.
Need the army.
And then carry the army down there so. And he managed to fix up the place. But he want to carry army go help him. How that go?
Da da dee da da do. I don't know.
Because to him say him fix up a lot of places down there with no help from nobody.
The man say him have the manpower, sending the material, send the army at other places that don't have the manpower. And my God, a lot of other places are there that need the army. You heard Nikisha Burchell in the parliament saying, send them, come, we need them.
Right.
Why you forcing to send them in a maroon town? Why you try prove? The man say me have manpower, yes, sir.
Yeah, give you material.
Yeah. Send the army at the places when I have no manpower with the people, them lose hope. All of them dreams dash. Them weary, them don't feel like take up a piece of zinc from around them yard. Because you still drive through place down there, you see the rebel all about.
So him insists of sending the army in?
Well, me da watch one thing with me Auntie Babsy this morning and it sounds so. I don't know. As I say, I'm watching the play Pringler, watching it.
But them for have an election and the farmer chief
the government look like them are support him.
Yeah, man, that is the thing. It's
They
politics
over to
at
Curry.
it's politics at play down there because they want Curry out. So politics is at play down there.
So tell me, what to the lumber them where they did where they find SHACKA go with the lumber? What become of it?
But I don't know what become of that something there. I don't know. I remember that lumber case there where the man them had said the man them had thief out the lumber. Well, remember they had brought in police and soldiers and take out the lumber, you know.
Yeah, so but you hear anything else about it?
No, sir. Done deal.
What make?
Done. I don't know.
What make?
I don't know.
There's a lot of things where they investigate and you know you're nothing else about them again.
Yeah, man. All the whole heap of drugs where they did find a Ian Fleming. We know you're not more about that.
Anyway.
Yeah, brother.
You have a lot more if you go through.
Yes.
We don't see nothing yet.
I know. It's
and
coming.
I've been telling you all along.
You've been warning us.
For years.
And I have been heeding to your warning, my brother.
And you know, if you pay politics the right way like they are doing it.
And the PNP not playing no politics. The PNP need to learn some politics. PNP not playing no politics. PNP are deal with governance and they are not in government. They need to play the politics. Blessings, my brother. We have Mary holding. Mary, thanks for holding. Mary?
Yes.
We're back with you. Turn off the TV now. Yes.
Yeah. Mama move. Because Colin, you know something? You see, the thing with these JLP people, you see, they have the ability, I guess we all have, to compartmentalize stuff, you know. Because when you listen to them and all them talk, with even this gentleman talking about, you know, oh, Andrew is forcing to send the JDF into Maroon territory. Like you say, an election is due in February, and they're aligned with the former chief.
Yes.
And Curry is too much for them. So them won't get him out. So because the other chief come out and say, the government can come in anywhere where they want. So that's what they want to hear. But back to the original argument with the care packages. Colin, me they do the maths, you know. And to me, the maths never had a maths. And to me never strong for maths in our school. Me I say, no, this could never be right. But must I do something wrong? Because me I look at it and I say, but I want $300 for one party, you know. I said that could, I to give them some rice, whatever was in the package. But when you come out and you boast about you spend that amount of money, but that cohort of people, you know, give them nothing.
And
they haven't gotten anything.
I don't know if you remember Damien saying to the commander that the commander said one package can serve how much people for you long, and Damien said cannot. Well, we see can't do that.
Exactly. It you know, so the match out and you know what them a crew about, you know. And so Colin, if it wasn't for you, people like you know, that you know, private people and something come out and give people food down there. Would have hunger and starvation down there, you know.
People dead for hunger down at that. If it was for the government alone, we would have buried people who dead from hunger.
Exactly.
Because by their numbers, and when I by their numbers, show that people that dead for hungry.
Exactly. And you know, and then you know, when you know, so you do that big number for say, oh, we'll feed 300,000 people. What feed what? And then again,
but Mary, when you do the calculation, that is still about a quarter of what they should have delivered. And that's why yesterday when some people come here and I say the government are thief the money, me said no more that the money they can't be money for thief because that money can't feed the people them.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know, some siphon if them say them spend that, I don't know. Some siphon off go on this so. But you know, I know the interest of time because enough people. Back to the Maroon thing, you know, say Colin.
Yeah.
I went and researched, right? And when I look in 1962 when we got independence, right? The bases that were army bases, the English, the British signed over back those bases, all of those bases. I don't know if it's security or what. They signed over those bases back to the government of Jamaica. They never the Maroon land, they never signed over the Maroon lands to the government of Jamaica.
No, the Maroons have their own land. The Maroons got their land. Different.
Exactly.
So the Maroons don't pay property taxes.
Yes, yes. So I'm saying that in the interest, Colin, that people, the psychophant I talk about everywhere in Jamaica belong to the government and them can go anywhere. And that's why I'm saying, I'm gonna read up on this thing and see what happened. Because Colin, the treaty still there, Q Road in England where the British archives there,
Yeah,
even
man.
the Jamaica archives out here. The treaty is still there. And no people has come forward to retract that and say, no, we take back those lands, So the treaty is still in force. It's indigenous lands. And all over the world, Native Americans, Eskimos, whoever, them people them get them land. The people them, the Maoris, the Aborigines in Australia, the people them still have them land. Yes, governments are there, but the people them still have them land and they respect these treaties.
All right, Marie. Thanks for the call.
Yeah.
Blessings.
All right.
We are joined by Conrad O'Brien. Caller, good morning. Conrad, morning. Hold on, caller.
Hi, Colin. Morning. How you doing? Greetings.
With day blaze the fire, OB. This morning, OB is not a guest. He's my co-host because we don't bring on guests on Sunday morning. We take the people's call. So, caller, go right ahead.
Conrad and Colin.
Yes.
Morning.
Don't play him, man. He must have two different things from Pernell Charles.
Oh, so Pernell Charles said more package or less?
Pernell Charles, man, because what him said, ODPM spend a 94 million and then spend 225. So 240 million then spend overall package.
Hold on. So you're saying that Pernell Charles
ODPM spend 94 million.
Different from the 250 million of Pernell spent?
240 overall, yeah. Did you find 225?
So they spent $340 million overall.
Yes, just playback thing they won. Pernell Charles won. And you hear how much care package they do.
And so you say Pernell Charles won't include everybody?
Yeah, it includes their own. Can talk how much your ODPM spend and how much them spend.
All right.
240 million they spend overall.
So it's not 225?
No, 240 plus. My lady depend
hold on, 340 million. The man says 340,000 care package,
No, 340 million and spend, man.
No,
94 for ODP, man, and they spend 225. And then she start there, not in 2 weeks ago. Where she said they don't start spending money yet. So how they spend too much money now and all the time?
No, they don't start spending money that they collected, but the government is spending from the consolidated fund.
Okay. Well, just check back the team one. See there?
All right.
Just let him one. And wait till you don't have care package, how much them do.
All right.
I hear how much ODP do too.
All right. I'm going to listen to back film one. Obi, come in.
Thanks. All right, cool.
Yeah, yes, Colin. Certainly, we have been saying from day one, Colin, that we need to to run a tight ship. And these are the things that we're talking about, because this figure that the government is talking about, no, Colin, certainly there are a lot of question marks there. And Colin, you see, when you don't do things in a timely manner, this is what happened. Because we were asking for a running, almost a day-to-day, activity as to what is taking place. And when you look at the people of Jamaica in the main, what they are saying, the help that they have received so far, it seems to us, Colin, that those helps went to the people by way of donors and so on and so forth. So the government is going to be hard pressed to really and truly, prove to the citizenry of Jamaica that they spend $300+ million already in terms of the giveaway. And I'm happy that you actually correct the caller just now. What the government were saying is that they said that they did not touch those monies that comes in through ADPEM, etc., or to ADPEM et al. However, they were spending out of the Consol fund.
Let's go to our caller. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Colin. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning there. How are you doing?
Okay. The thing about the care packages and the relief package and all that, we don't, it, Jamaican and people, let me know, we don't need to argue about it as you were saying from yesterday, Because the numbers of food that they said in price, in the dollar value, the amount of people that is affected, how many days was that amount of money food could have provided? We are in from what? October 28th.
Yes.
To say give and take 3 days or so after the hurricane, because people stocked up a bit. To today, which is or when couple days ago.
Today's the 14th.
Friday
so
he
Carla,
came out.
So Carla, let's leave October.
Yes.
Leave October and calculate the days. November of 30 days, and today is the 14th, so that's 44 days.
Correct. Could that feed the amount of people that they're saying? Let's use their number and let's use reasoning and logics and facts. Could that feed the people? It is enough to say they were inadequate. And they're admitting the fact by their numbers that it is inadequate.
Because Carla,
it is slow,
watch this.
And it is incompetence.
Watch
and
this.
It's wickedness to
Hold
our
on, Carla.
people.
Hold on. If they said that one of those packages can serve for 5 days, you should have 8 rotation almost 9 times. So what the government said them give out, they should have given out 8 times that at a minimum to be doing good.
Correct. At least they are honest because numbers don't lie. At least this is honest, but our people are so in the emotions when they see that number, because they are the one feeling it. They are reacting like no, but you are logically, evidence-based is trying to tell them it is true, it is inadequate, it is not enough.
Carla, you're onto something, Carla, and you're quite correct. You see, we have a way of playing with numbers. When you give a big number, you say, boy, 1 billion or how many 100 million, you create an impression as if you're doing something because people are looking at the overall number. But when you really get granular, and you started to do the division and so on, then you recognize that certainly there's a lot of inadequacy there. It's like percentage. A man come out and him say, boy, me give you 100% increase or 200% increase in what you were getting. However, your base was $15,000 per month, so that 100% carried us to 30,000. While when you talk about big numbers now and you give that percentage, then it really illuminates. So you're making an interesting point there. So the overall number, Colin, that they trot out, but when you drill down, as we are doing, you recognize the shortcoming.
The ratio, the proportion doesn't match, sir.
Obi.
The ratio and the proportion doesn't match that money. As Colin was saying, if it wasn't for those other extra charities and everybody, even the World Food Kitchen will feed the people, you know what? My thing is, and this is just my opinion, if we ask the World Kitchen to say to us, the world, how much did they spend in food, transportation, and they provided even employment. Jamaica, 225 million. Sure.
Thank you, Carla. Joke. Obi.
Have a good day.
I did a calculation a while ago, Obi, on the $225 million. And we divide $225 million by the amount of package that them say them do. It's $700 one package that cost, $225 million is peanuts to feed 300,000 people or even 100,000 people. Go ahead, caller.
Absolute.
Caller, good morning. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, morning.
Morning.
Yeah, very interesting program this morning. To you and your listeners. But listen, I hear somebody, a previous caller brought up the issue with the Maroon Towns lumber. And I'm wondering if a top journalist like you more investigative journalism couldn't be done because the gentleman was asking a question about what had happened to the lumber, and you say you don't know.
No, what I said to him, hold on, I never just leave it at don't know. I reminded him that the forestry department had brought in the army and the police and they had taken out the lumber.
Right. I heard you say that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we the public don't really know what happened after that. And I think that is what the gentleman was alluding to.
Yes, he wants to know.
Them take the lumber. And yes, and what happened to it? Because remember, something was supposed to happen to it, you know. So we don't really know. So I wonder, from an investigative journalistic point of view, if people like you...
I am not a journalist doing a caller.
Oh, you're a broadcaster?
I'm a broadcaster. I'm not a journalist, really. In the real sense of journalism, I am more a broadcaster. But I can try and find out.
That would be on you to have your source so you could find out some things to the public.
No, man, it's not. We can try and find out.
Yeah, well,
but I don't claim
I
don't claim journalistic privilege.
No, man, and let us not keep too much on that. I understand that.
Yeah.
But the point I'm really whatever sources you have can get information that the public will be informed as to what are the issues. We'll be grateful.
Yeah, man. Whatever my listeners are interested in, I try and find it out for them. So now that we're getting this kind of interest, we'll try and find out.
The maroon and the lumber is one of them that the caller brought up.
Yeah, man. We'll try and find out. Because my intention also is to invite Colonel Sterling sometime this week to really look at the maroon and look at the history of the maroons.
Colin.
And just the last point.
Hold on, caller. Hold on. Before you go to the last point. Obi wants to come in. Go ahead, Obi.
The lumber, right? It's a good point the caller is making, because certainly, you know, we have not gotten the kind of update as to what exactly happened to the lumber after it was removed from the maroon community. But there's something here that I'd like to posit, Colin. If you have a piece of land, don't whatever is on the land belong to you?
Yeah, man, it's your property, whatever, and it is yours.
Therefore, and we have the information, of course, Carla Marie just talk about her doing her research and so on. And indeed, we are certain that the lands were given to the Maroons. Therefore, the lumber on the Maroon land should belong to the Maroons. So it would be interesting to know, after those lumbers were basically abducted or retrieved from the Maroon land, who get the proceeds of those lumber?
It's something that we're going to have to investigate.
Yeah, okay, look at it.
Go ahead with the final point, caller.
Yes, and into the Maroon town. Also, I'd like to go on to justify why they couldn't redirect these soldiers to some destitute places, as you have mentioned. And that is also another. I wouldn't mind if you could explore with your sources, because it's really, it look funny. Honestly, the Maroon chief course, him have labor, that's not an issue, him have manpower. And we see, especially in Westmoreland, and the people are destitute, old people, old ladies, all these things. And the army, the soldiers that serve better in those areas, forget out on the ground, not where them have manpower, and the chief tell the government that. Them shall say, okay, Mr. Curry, we use the soldiers at a more strategic place where people can benefit or in a dire situation.
All right, my brother.
So, yeah, follow them things up for me. Thank you,
All
sir.
right, cool. Somebody in the chat room, Obi, is reminding us that if you find gold on your land, it is not yours. Or if you find oil, it is not yours.
Well, we are aware of that.
That is true. We have another caller. Morning, caller. Welcome to Talk Jamaica. Turn off the instrument in the background for me, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, morning, Sabel.
Yes.
Just a slightly clarification. And I've been talking about this container home.
Yes.
Understand? And I think Wayne Lump Sum have shown us what they're all about. And it's not real container.
Well,
it's not real
But we don't really need but Colin.
Hold
on. If you just hearing this from Wayne, then you're late. Colin and myself, we have basically for weeks we have been explaining this and going through all of this. So while we appreciate you mention Wayne, so Wayne also piggyback on us and do this thing, but we have been out there a long time talking about this and explaining it to our
There are
callers.
about 3 different types. You have the real metal container that you use to transport goods. Some people retrofit those into houses. You have the one that they fold up and put on in the container, so it come in a container. So them call it container homes. And then you have a next one where more look like plastic. And the Prime Minister told us that the lifespan of these houses are some of them are 2-year lifespan.
2 to
some
10
of them
years.
can go about 10 years. So yeah, man, we have explored all of that. We have brought in the expert civil engineer. Christopher Burgess was here on this channel explaining all of that.
The president for the Master Builders Association, we have him on my program. So we do all of those stuff.
Okay.
But thanks, more the merrier.
Yes, man.
Or them building. I mean, not foolishness them there. Them that can
rubbish, man.
Even a real container them. And that's something for people living on because you have to have an AC in them thing there.
And the metal going rotten after a while. And they cannot withstand, they can't withstand a Category 5 hurricane. We go through all of that. So you need to come here more often.
There's also another thing, Colin. Another thing with the real container, Colin. Based on what those container transporting.
All right. Give thanks, my brother. One love. Yeah, man.
So,
come here more often. You will get the thing sooner. All right? Like, share, and subscribe, my brother.
Yeah, Colin.
Yeah, and remember also Conrad Obi, the fireman, at YouTube. So I have him channel too. So like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah. Colin, you see, this thing get more bizarre as we look at it because here it is.
Hold on, caller.
The conversation is related to the maroon. And last week I was so happy that Marlon engaged me and announced himself as being talking for the government.
Hold on,
so Marlon came up.
Let me play that for the people them. Because when I'm a caller this morning, I play one of the clip this morning. And the caller said the first time I hear that clip. But let me play this year one here. Make him hear it.
Of Jamaica, right here and now this morning, that the 150
Hold on, caller,
that government is lent or has lent.
Yes, sir. It has been made available out of GOJ's existing resources. Yes, sir. Go on to the question.
Are you saying now you can give it now one answer because I have to move on. One word, you have to move on. Are you saying?
No, man, you determine the question, I determine the response.
No, but remember, determine your tenure here in terms of how long.
You're speaking with a member of the political executive in the Mr. Brian. You have to demonstrate and afford me a bit of courtesy, you know.
I have.
The office that I hold requires that I be afforded a certain courtesy, you know, sir.
I have. And
I'm a parliamentary secretary in the information ministry. Giving the people information is my job, Mr. Brian. The taxpayers of Jamaica pay me for that.
Hold on. And that is why.
You understand?
Hold on. And that is why I have you here. For extended.
Be a bit more accommodating, man. You're speaking with a member of the political executive in the country, sir.
Hold on, don't do that. And if since you want to go there, let me say, a member of the political executive that I have championed you get in there in a big way. All right?
Thank you, sir. Many thanks, Mr. O'Brien. But go ahead with it.
Stop it there. You hear the pompousness. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning, Colin.
Morning and welcome.
Yes, sir. I'm calling you about the issue of the Maroons. Tell me something. Could you remind me about? Could you tell me what year the government, the Prime Minister went into Portmore, sending soldiers and police and soldiers in Portmore to go down on the people in houses?
Was that 2023? When did that happen, Obi? When the bulldoze there was 2023?
Was it 23?
I don't remember the exact year, caller. Maybe you can remind us. It sounds like
I think it's about 2020.
No, I think it was 2023. You know.
I think it's about 2023. I think
22,
yes. I believe that it is the same intention you have to go into Maroon Town, you know.
No, I don't think you have a bulldoze no house in Maroon Town.
Well, you watch and see. Mark my word, that the same intention you have.
To bulldoze house up a compound?
Eh?
To bulldoze houses in a compound? I don't think so.
Yes, man. That's the same intention you have. That's why you see send the soldiers them in here, you know. That's why I bring the soldiers them with him inside here.
All right, sir.
That's why I brought the soldiers them company him in Maroon Town. That's the same intention you have. And you mark my word, it's the same intention you have. You're going to do that to them.
I don't think so. But as you said, that's your opinion. And we're marking your word.
That's my opinion.
We're marking your word.
That's my opinion.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Yes, sir.
Bless you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, Obi.
Yeah, I like you, Colin. I don't
Hold
think
on,
so. I said, like you, I support that your point that I don't believe that the Prime Minister would be going into Maroon Town, a compound, to bulldoze any houses. However, there may be other sinister moments or motive rather. And Curry and his executive have basically talk on behalf of the people of Up Compound and say, listen, they have the manpower, they have whatever resources. However, the conversation must not be muddied because some people are trying to do that, Colin, to make it come across as if Curry is rejecting everything from the Prime Minister. Curry is accepting the material and so on. It is simply the militarization, the army that they're not accepting. So why not use the army, Colin,
hold on,
elsewhere? Why not use the army elsewhere that is in need of it?
We heard Nikisha Burchell calling for them. We heard Nikisha Burchell say, give me the help. I want it. Send the army to my place.
So why the fight?
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Colin.
Morning, welcome.
Okay. I was just listening about that care package thing.
Yes.
With that money.
Yes.
I think that I hear some Jamaica is saying that which party spend that the whole of money, but I would have said I think he do because I saw them giving two bottle of water and a sorry juice, and that don't cost man about $800.
And if you calculate it, I calculate 250 million by the 40,000 care package. By the 440,000 care package, and that comes out to $700, not even $800.
Yeah, so when you check it out now, it's probably the 2 bottle of water that I supposing that one person, me see that, say them are sure that, say they are that and getting a one package. So probably is that he's buying.
When I calculate it, the government should have spent over $1 billion at a minimum in terms of food packages. So $250 million is joke. None of that for nobody thief.
So how many are the parishes that discharge badly?
There are about
how
5.
Many parishes? Because I hear sometimes say 7, some say 6.
All right. So let me tell you.
I don't know.
Manchester gets some damage, but they are not in the worst of the worst. But they get bad damage. Some areas get bad hit in Manchester. St. Elizabeth.
Right.
So you'd have said the entire St. Elizabeth, even though not everywhere mash up bad in a St. Elizabeth, but you'd have said St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, even though not everywhere in a St. James mash up bad, Trelawney. So those are the 5 major parishes: St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. but you have to add Manchester to that as well.
Yeah.
St. Ann in parts.
St. Ann. And then if you really look over it, there are places in Portland we get mashed up bad. Some places in St. Mary. So you have pockets in other parishes that get hit hard. Even St. Thomas get place where river wash out some community. Yeah? But you're looking at those those 5 parishes that get the hardest hit. Yeah? And when you look at the population, St. Elizabeth St. Elizabeth is about 150,000 people. So is Westmoreland. Hanover is about 70,000 people. St. James is maybe more than 200,000 people. And Trelawney is maybe about another 100,000. Yeah? So you're talking about over 500,000, close to 700,000 people in those 5 parishes. Right? And when we listen to the first exchange with the ODPM and Damian Crawford, he was talking about 360,000 people. Pernell Charles said that the assessment that they are planning to do is for 150,000 households.
How long him not even know what go on? Him never even look like him know what go on down on the ground. Because they're not doing no work. They're not doing nothing.
No, you see, if the assessment, let me tell you something, Carla, where the whole thing start. If the assessment is not done, the government is going to be flying blind. And that's why I come out wicked. I don't know if you hear it yesterday morning, OB. I don't know what come across me. But when I heard Pernell Charles say it's January, the end of January before the assessment went done, I lost it. I totally lost it.
But remember, Colin, that
but
we...
But people are dead now.
Hold on, Carla.
People are going to suffer and die because...
remember, Colin, that the information that were gleaned is that the computers to basically collate the information, they picked it up late this week.
Monday evening.
Monday evening they pick up the computers from and I also asked the official from the government, Mr. Senator Morgan, and about how many people were trained to carry out the activity, and he couldn't give an answer. So therefore, it looked like not even one weren't trained at the time.
Well, no, Pernell Charles is saying 500,000 people them have, but one of the problem with that 500,000, a lot of them are volunteers. So the government not serious about collecting the data. If you're serious about collecting the data, you're going to pay people, spend 100 million or 120 million and go collect the data because the government needs that data to address the problem. Go ahead, caller.
I think this generation of today is different from the whole generation because the whole generation would put up with so many slack this one going in the country so long, you know.
Tell her, you think a joke? Caller, I have frequently said on this program that if we were in slavery now, we would be slaves for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
Because them people are not business with nothing.
Based upon what me see, I don't less than this in a happen at first at days, and I don't see people like people just going on like not go on their country. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
All right, caller.
Nobody now come out and say nothing.
Thank you very much. We're past 10:30. Yeah. Obi.
Yeah, I want to say, Colin, good morning to Pernell Charles Sr. He called me this morning, and of course, he had very, very kind words to say to me, and he is quite delighted of the job that I'm doing, Colin. And also, you know, but I talk to him, I tell him that boy, his own son abandoned me, who is my good friend, because I need to put these same questions, Colin. These same questions. You know, I need to put these same questions to him. So he undertook the job of ensure that he massage his son and ensure that him talk to me sometime this week. So I'm hoping that his father, senior, will be successful on that. But these are interesting questions, Colin. And I tell you something, you know, here the problem that people have with the money that the government said it's spent for care package. The truth is that the people on the ground continue to complain that they have got no governmental support, and the help that they get by way of packages and so on, those come from our international donors and just local people on the ground. So that is where the rubber hits the road, not in terms of whether or not the money was sufficient to feed, because we know the money would not be sufficient if you were doing an adequate job. But in the first place, people are saying that even though the government mentioned this figure, they have not seen
but
that
Obi,
that
Obi,
on the ground.
Let me tell you why they have not seen it.
Yes.
This morning, I asked Nats for a supermarket bill where she go shopping. And supermarket bill. Nats, me get back to you? Wait there. We did have it right here, someone. The supermarket bill was $23,000. And see it here? $23,000. No sugar, no depony, no flour, no depony. Right? But I did another calculation just a while ago while you were talking. And if you say a care package can serve people for 4 or 5 days, that care package can cost less than $20,000. $20,000 divided by 250 million is 12,500 package, brother. So it can't reach them. That money could have only buy 12,500 package. So how that for reach people them? And I'm saying to Jamaica that the problem on the ground is what the government has done is not adequate. It's not politics. It's not politics. It's inadequacy. The government has not done enough. And that's why I tell you this morning, out of 10, me rate the government 3. When you look at their numbers, it should be about 2.
But Colin,
their numbers.
But Colin, and let us just flesh this out for what it is, because we have to be...
Don't lose your thought, Obi. Just remember we have a caller. And this is the final call. So we're going to just deal with this caller, and then you and I can deal with that issue. I will close out. Go ahead, caller. Sorry about that, caller. Go ahead.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Yeah, I have a question. I have a question, Colin.
Yes.
The people outside was bulldozer done by over in Spanish Town. You were there.
Yeah.
Were these people small investors? Were they small investors?
Of course they were. You have to call them small investors. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I think I've heard the Prime Minister coming out and talking about he's asking for investors to join him to build houses. That's what he said recently.
Yeah, man. But from the 23rd of November, I said to the Prime Minister, said, build concrete shells, call in the local developers, say to them, me are going to take a break off on a development for 2 months. Come down at the west and build all the houses that need to be built. Don't carry no container house down here. So the Prime Minister late, and that's why the Prime Minister need people like us around him. The Prime Minister need our help. People like Marlon Morgan have no use to the Prime Minister. None. And I say it without any fear of contradiction.
Well, Colin, you were saying that actions speak louder than words.
That is the talk, brother. That is it.
And the Prime Minister's action toward the people in Spanish Town is to bulldoze their house.
You mean over Portmore, over Clifton?
Yeah, that guy is an hypocrite. He's an hypocrite, mate. You know what I mean? He's an hypocrite. You know? One more question I want to ask you, Conrad, if you might have some knowledge on it. What is the history and these listed buildings in St. Elizabeth? Are they listed on the UNESCO World Heritage Site?
They should, because all the buildings that are have of those vintage, including those in Spanish Town and so on, they based on the historical value, they should be listed.
They should be listed on the UNESCO or on the Jamaica Heritage Site, because the UNESCO World Heritage Site is a high mark, Not a lot of places are on that.
Well, the definitely
the UNESCO Royal Heritage Site. I mean, it's most of the historical buildings, they're normally registered with them. There should be, I assume.
Well, we
You know,
can
my
check. We
question
can
is-
check that. That's not difficult to check. We can check it.
Good.
Well, the point I want to make: why those buildings are not being taped around and put up signs that they should not touch the materials until they are assessed
But
by
caller.
assessed by the people who are in charge to rebuild them.
Caller, you call with this point already, and I said something to you that there's no thinking going on in this thing, because in St. Elizabeth in Black River, an historical building that I know is on the Jamaica Heritage Site was actually bulldozed after the hurricane. The hurricane mashed up apartheid, and nobody was thinking. So they give a contractor the contract to clean up, and then bulldoze everything else were left. And they fire the contractor for that, and nobody never tell him, say, great. You understand? So there's a serious issue happening in Jamaica where the critical thinking is not taking place. All the knowledge is not brought together. So when they talk about all hands on deck, it's not happening.
Well, Colin.
Hold on, Obi coming in. Hold on, caller. Go ahead, Obi.
The person that gave the contractor the contract, the bulldozer operator, the contract.
Yeah.
That person should in turn be fired as well, because if you engage a bulldozer operator to basically bulldoze a place, and he goes there, MC building in a certain condition, and if you don't advise him, then certainly he's going to move along
and go and clean up. Yes.
Absolutely. So the contractor, or we could even go further, the official, and this now would be certainly government or government agency, who employed the contractor, who in turn employ the bulldozer operator. That official should come under some amount of questioning and pressure and sanction.
Right, that's so. Caller, finish up.
The reason why I say I try to keep a light in this thing, you see, I've listened to a gentleman in St. Elizabeth. I think he runs some of the boats on the Black River, and he seemed to be a part of those listed buildings. And one of the things he said, that this building cannot be rebuilt. And when I heard him say that, you know what I mean, I said, this guy that doesn't even know what he's talking about. Because technically, the first thing should be those buildings should be taped around and put up sign, do not touch. And then
you're bringing the experts.
And get the expert to come in, and then get the UNESCO Royal Heritage Site to come in and assist them, because I've worked on this building over here, okay? And what they do, they come, they fence the building up, and they bring in the structural engineer, and some of the buildings they build them out in metal beams, and then they cover the beams in brickwork. So you maintain the same character of the building, but structurally it's better.
Yeah. Well, we're going to leave you now, caller. Yeah, man. Thanks for the call here. We're going to leave you.
Okay, man.
All right. So that's the final call. Obi.
Yeah, the caller is absolutely correct, Colin, that, you know, how we should approach it. And yes. Colin, let's face it, we have been saying some of these things ad nauseam, and I'm saying this morning that I know that you can't listen to everything sometime live, but essential the programs. For example, I carry my program on YouTube, right? They have been broadcast on YouTube as well. So the program is up afterward. Colin program is up. So you can actually go back and listen your own time. But one other thing, Colin, that coming out this morning has been coming out, certainly, not just this morning alone, but you know, over time, more and more of our Jamaican people are examining certain things and perusing it and asking very, very important and indeed sometimes some very technical questions. And that is why we crave the indulgence of ministers of government and heads of agency, Colin, because in truth and in fact, while we know things and we will say yes, this is so, but when they come on, we can basically ask them, and they will be speaking from officialdom on behalf of the government. That's what we need. Right? You also mentioned earlier, Colin, about not politics and incompetence based on what could we see politics being morphed into the whole thing, and as a result of that, we are seeing real true incompetence showing up for whatever reason. Because remember, Colin, we must understand that we live in a highly political charged atmosphere. A local government election is looming, right? There are constituencies, municipal corporation that the government is hell-bent and taking back. You understand? Therefore, one has to understand that politicians will play politics in the main. We have to basically hold them accountable and keep their feet to the fire.
And call them out.
Mm-hmm.
Obi, let me thank you for joining us this morning. Thanks to all the listeners, all the viewers, all the people who called in. When we come on a Sunday morning, it's your morning, and we give you a chance to speak to us, as we don't give you as much chance as we think on the weekdays. I did say the last call, but let me take this final call. For some reason, I feel like I want to take the call. Hello, morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
I want to engage in the discussion about Mr. Curry. The idea, I hear a gentleman, I'm watching the program right now, a gentleman here is saying that Mr. Curry is not dismissing the government offer.
No, he's not.
But what I believe,
not in totality.
Yes.
Yes. We said that. Yes.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, but I can hardly hear you. I can't hear what you're saying.
Go ahead. Go ahead. We are not talking. We are listening to you.
All right. Yeah, and I'm saying, if we look at the entire dynamic, I believe Mr. Curry had made a big mistake. Now, I'll tell you why I know that Mr. Curry had made a big mistake and a gamble, a bad gamble. Mr. Curry, could you listen me out?
Nobody's saying anything
you need
at
to
all.
turn
But
down the instrument that
you have an instrument in the background that you must turn off. If you don't turn that off, it going to throw off your whole conversation.
I don't have no instrument on. I don't have any instrument on. I have my computer up, but it is on. I turn off the volume.
Right, you have to mute it, and you can't watch it neither, because that have a big delay over the phone.
All right.
So just pay attention to the phone.
All right, yes. So I'm saying no. Mr. Curry has put himself in a bad position. One, when Mr. Curry, there's no doubt that Mr. Curry have a history with Mark Golding. Mr. Golding, as he used to work with Jerry in Bunting and Golding. But when Mr. Curry now presents himself to at the People's National Party conference, it gives a bad picture as a leader. I think as it stands, what Mr. Curry should have done is stand aloof of the politics. And if the government comes in and said, okay, he's willing to help, Mr. Curry, therefore, should have established clearly that, listen, if the government willing to help, then for those who want the help, it is accessible to you. For those who don't want the help, then challenge the help in this way. Mr. Curry has played a bad political gamble, and he should pay the price for that bad political gamble. I strongly believe that. I strongly believe that the fact that Mr. Curry has rejected the JDF from being there raised the spectre of suspicion as to why he doesn't want the army to be there. Now, if that is the case, Mr. Curry must also pay dearly for that. Number two, when we look at the whole issue of Mr. Curry debating autonomy. There should not be the indigenous people have an autonomy as it relates to their culture. But Mr. Curry must realize that he has a passport, and his passport says Jamaica. Mr. Curry is the holder of a driver's license, and the driver's license says Jamaica. Therefore, Mr. Curry, and by extension, all those people up there are subjected to the laws of Jamaica. Had Mr. Curry played his role effectively as a bipartisan person in the best interest of everybody, those who oppose him and those who support him, as he played his hand clearly, and I know Mr. Curry is capable of doing that, because Mr. Curry is an eminently brilliant individual. I know he could have done that, but Mr. Curry has made the gamble to gamble with politics and therefore put his tenure in serious issue. I hereby wait on your answer.
Thank you, caller.
Caller. The question, Colin, the caller mentioned Curry, Chief Curry, and having a Jamaican driver's license mark Jamaica. He also mentioned his passport.
Yes.
For example, the Aboriginal people in Australia who are afforded certain privileges based on the fact that they are the original peoples that there. Their passport or their document, I would like to know, it bear anything different from being Australian?
No.
It doesn't.
Indians in America, they have American passport.
Absolutely. Therefore, it's, you see, we have to be on point. We can't pick out things and so on. The fact of the matter is that the Prime Minister has a beef with Curry, and not understanding that, listen, we still have two political parties in Jamaica. And if Curry feel that, listen, his people are taking down the garden path rather, by the oldness administration and by extension the JLP, and he believe that, listen, Mark Golden and the PNP are putting ideas forward that is beneficial to his people, then he has a right to lean there. The fact of the matter also, Colin, let's not lose the point. Let's not lose the point. And what the caller was referring to me, let's not lose this point. Curry has not rejected everything that the Prime Minister put forward out of hand. Is one aspect of it. The army, he's saying that, listen, they can build back stronger and better of their own. And people like Nikisha Burchell and others say, here we are. We need the help from the soldiers. Deploy the soldiers there and let good sense prevail.
I would only say one thing to the caller. The Constitution of Jamaica give every Jamaican the right, freedom of speech, freedom of association. So if Curry aligns himself to the People's National Party, there should be no punishment for that. And we have seen it that this party, the GLP, is willing to punish anybody who is not aligned themselves with them. Now, let me just remind the caller, as you rightly did, Curry said to the government of Jamaica, because the government is short on manpower. We have manpower in a compound that can do the work. Send the soldiers elsewhere. We need the assessment to be done. The government need to put out 2,000 to 3,000 people on the ground and get the assessment complete in 7 days. The end of January is unacceptable. The government cannot properly address the issues without knowing what the issues are. And to know how the issues are, it is the assessment that needs to be done that the government is failing at. They have only done 40,000 out of their figure of 150,000 that they are expecting to get done. Those men that they want to send up our compound, send them on the ground.
Colin, I know we're closing, but let me say this. I'll ask you the opportunity for two things. The first one is to reply again to the caller. The caller is going down a very dangerous ground. Dangerous ground. In terms of using the fact that Curry associates himself with the People's National Party, then the Prime Minister could look at it in a particular way or saying that the Prime Minister should. Because here's the thing now. We have 28 members of Parliament from the PNP side. We have a plurality of councillors from the PNP side. I think the PNP has about 2 or 3 councillors more than the JLP. Therefore, should we deduce from the caller that once you associate with the PNP, then you must expect to be pushed back and to be sabotaged or whatever, because that is certainly implicit in the caller's pronouncement just now. In closing from me, Colin, I just want to say that tomorrow at 10:10 a.m., your friend Colin and colleague, Doreen Campbell, will be joining me. The Observer carried an article today that was highlighted by her as it relates to a youngster in Portland who fell out of one of the school bus. And there are a number of things that come into the fore. It's actually showing up that there was no monitor on the bus and a number of questions being asked there. Doreen must be congratulated. She is staying with this, and she indeed penned that article, and we saw out of that the JUTC responded this morning. The article is in today's Observer.
Blessings, my brother. One love.
Bless
thanks
you.
Thanks to all the listeners. Thanks to the viewers. Thanks to all the people for calling. It's a pleasure having you. This has been Talk Jamaica. We do it on a Sunday morning. Do remember to join me tomorrow evening at 5. We'll be live right here on Portland Spice TV. One love, my people. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace until we meet again. One love.